we're not gonna try to break the grip downwards here because that's where his strength is. You're gonna bring your hips up, jackknife a bit, drop your hips, and then you're gonna take your partner's hand up and over. Then you can use your knees to bring your partner forward and your arm goes over your head like this. When you're on the bottom and you're wearing the gi and your partner's inside your closed guard, sometimes they can get a very firm grip on your collars here, okay? It's a good thing for them to do because it allows them to frame out their upper body, makes it hard for you to break their posture, lets them keep their head up, and then they can start to pass the guard. So there are a bunch of good ways of breaking that grip. Let's look at 3 of them right now. So once our partner's here in the closed guard, what we're talking about is a situation where they gather up our lapels here, turn their hand, and post on our chest. So he's in really good posture here. That means that if I try to just use my legs to bring him forward, he's not really going anywhere. Not only that, he's a little bit taller than me, and reaching from here to get a good cross-collar grip is difficult. I might be able to get one, but it's pretty shallow. Now, if I want to get a straight lapel grip, that's even harder. I can't climb that high. This arm is making it very difficult, okay? So how are we going to deal with this? A few good ways. The first one is we're just going to take our 2 hands, put our thumbs underneath our partner's wrist, not on the gi for this one, but just underneath here on the wrist. And as he goes to hold me down, we're not going to try to break the grip downwards here because that's where his strength is. I don't want to take the grip out in this direction because he's got his 4 fingers out here, and we don't want the gi to move around too much. So we're going to take the grip directly over our head. You're going to bring your hips up, jackknife a bit, drop your hips, and then you're going to take your partner's hand up and over. Then you can use your 2 knees to draw your partner forward, and from here you've got that grip broken and you're outside your partner's arm ready to go. So that's the first one. Okay, another one that's also very good, especially if you feel like you can't get your thumbs underneath here, is to take a double grip here, cuffing your partner's sleeve right at the wrist. This grip here, remember, you're never putting your 4 fingers into the gi because you can get your fingers tangled up and hurt them. It's also, I think, illegal in some tournaments. So you want to just get a good grip here. It's a relatively safe form of grip. And this frame here, this post here, there's always a bunch of space between us. So we're going to take our arm through. Even if he brings his elbow down, I can usually go behind that elbow, draw my arm up, and then we're going to lock a figure 4 grip. So the figure 4 grip is going to reinforce the wrist-to-wrist connection underneath. Now we're going to do something very similar. We're going to take both our arms up over the top here. Now, what's interesting about this is when our arm comes through, we can pass our left arm not to the outside of our partner's arm, but rather to the inside. Then you can use your knees to bring your partner forward, and your arm goes over your head like this. This seems a little bit of an unnatural position, but you're not going to hold it. From here, you're going to take a whizzer grip, release now, and your partner's arm is trapped. You can feed your partner's lapel across here. We have strangle options from this position, and then we have a lot of good attacks, not the least of which, of course, is the clamp from here, where we've got our partner's arm trapped here. Okay, so this is a second great option. The third one, especially if we feel like our partner is resisting a lot here, and we feel like we're not able to hit either of these attacks, is for us to take our hand just over the top of our partner's wrist and to bend it in. So we're going to put a bend in our partner's wrist. You're not like karate chopping, you're just putting some weight here. Then you're going to do a sit-up. So we talked in another video about the importance of making sure that this wrist doesn't bend too much, this wrist doesn't bend too much, because when your partner's weight starts coming forward over this wrist, there's a lot of pressure. So we're actually going to create that condition here. We're going to bend. Then I'm going to do a little sit-up here, not much, and find his elbow. Then we're going to flare the elbow out, and we're going to create a situation where our partner's wrist is bent, we're holding that elbow, and then from here you're going to join your 2 hands. Now, if your partner doesn't do anything, and or you do this fast enough, you'll get a wrist lock here. But often what it'll mean is your partner will try to kind of posture up and hide that wrist. Now you're either going to have an overhook waiting for you, or as you go here, your partner's going to bend their arm. You can move it to the outside, start to climb. Sometimes you'll find a situation where they just kind of pull it back. That's also okay. Now from here you can start to follow them up and look to sweep, but there are a number of good options. So we have 3 good ways of managing this position. The first is a simple overhead break. The second is one where we use the jacket, feed everything through. And then the third is this wrist lock. It's kind of quasi wrist lock. If you hit it, great. But the goal is not to be able to land the wrist lock 100%, but rather to be able to create a little bit of kazushi. Some of it is surprise, some of it is just reaction. where you can then go ahead and chase your partner's arm, either sitting up or then looking to re-engage on your own terms, okay? So hopefully this stuff was helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, great, let us know. There's some space down there below to leave a comment. If you have a question or something like that, you can put that down there. We've got some links down there also for things that we've been up to.